Hello, welcome to Shad Life. Yes, this is almost complete. Not quite there yet. It's almost there. I'm pretty stoked on this build. Got it almost completely together. So there's a couple things I have yet to do on this. I do have the brakes on here, but the front brake, I still have the SLX lever, and I have a new XT lever to put on here, so I got to do that. Requires bleeding and all that stuff. And then I have the XT lever on this side. I mean, I figured I might as well do that since it was already disconnected, right? So that's all installed. Dropper post is installed, pretty cool. And I still have the fork yet to cut. A little bit on this, and of course I'm going to go on a little rant here. I'm not a fan of putting a bunch of spacers in here to raise the front of the bike. I see people do it all the time. What it does is if you use spacers to do it, you're actually bringing the bars closer to you as you raise them, which isn't ideal. You start shortening your reach and your cockpit, things like that. The ideal way to raise the front end, if you want it to be taller, is to leave this lower and to get higher rise handlebars. I mean, they make bars anywhere from 0, which would be just a straight flat bar, 10, 20, all the way up to like 80 millimeter rise, which would be like a DJ bar, which would be way too much for this bike. But you use the right handlebar and raise your front end that way. If you temporarily do this just to kind of figure out where it needs to be, fine, but don't do it that way. And then another thing to not do is don't leave this big piece sticking up here. That's like just asking to just shatter your sternum, right? I see people do that also. It's like they're afraid to cut their fork. It's like size your fork for the frame, and then add a few spacers so you have some adjustment, right? This is about the most you want to do. Then cut your fork and it'll be fine. And if you end up selling the bike and a taller person rides the bike, then the thing they should do is get a higher rise handlebar. That would be the upgrade they should do. They shouldn't be adding more spacers to size the bike. So that's just one of those rants of mine. I see people do it all the time and it just makes no sense. And honestly, like, especially as you have a slacker geometry, when you look down, when I look down and I look at where the stem is right here, and I imagine it being all the way up to the top here, that's like more than a centimeter of pulling the bars back towards me. It's pretty significant. So you don't want to do that. You want to go straight up, not up and back. So okay, so that's it. So I got to cut the fork, switch this lever out. I've been talking about changing the travel of the fork. Now that I have the bike together and I'm sitting on it and I'm kind of like playing around with it, I do kind of feel that flop, right? That flop, and I really don't want the bike to ride like that. So I will very likely switch out the travel and bring it down to 120. That'll give me 20 millimeters of drop on the front, and it'll be a lot more like ideal geometry for this frame. Right now it's just a little too slacked out, although I will try this at some point and see how I like it. But if I lived in a place where it was all downhill or a lot of downhill, I might like this, but for where I ride, I want it to be a little bit quicker handling and stuff. So the fork travel change needs to happen. And then what's my plan here? So my plan is to do all these changes to the front and try different things out. So I'll throw a 27.5 wheel on it, leave the 29er wheel on here, so on and so forth. It might be kind of hard to see that this is a mullet. So it's a 27.5 rear, 29 front. I don't know if it's hard to see in the video. Just in case, I will insert this photo I took the other day where it shows it pretty, you can easily tell that it's a mullet build. So here's the photo. cool. You can just totally tell that the front wheel is bigger than the back wheel in that photo. You can also tell how slack the bike is in that photo, so pretty cool. I'm loving this. This is one of the coolest builds I feel like I've ever done. And if you're curious about the weight, I have weighed it. I have a scale right there. It came out to 27.5 pounds as it sits. Keep in mind it's a single speed, so it doesn't have a cassette and a rear derailleur and all of that, or a shifter to add that weight. My guess would be if I was to add, you know, traditional gear setup on here, it'd probably run 28.5 and 29 pounds. But yeah, as it sits, without even really trying to be like a weight weenie building this out, 27.5 pounds, so that's pretty awesome. And that's steel, 4130 chromoly. So there you have it. Some other updates for you is one of the reasons there hasn't been a lot of riding videos from me lately. Well, one, it's winter time. Two, ever since I got back from Rays, I've been having these issues with my lower back. I did a video of the exercises I do to maintain my core, and I need to do more of that. I kind of slack on it sometimes, so very important. I'm also going to do some videos on some other exercise routines I do. I've also just started doing some Thai massage, and the woman that I work with specializes in back issues, so I'm really hoping I can get that corrected, because that's like tough, especially at my age, 55 years old. Don't want to start dealing with back problems. But yeah, I mean, I rode, 2 days in a row, 8 hours each day roughly. Pretty hard. I mean, jumping and stuff and riding my BMX bike, and that's some pretty hard riding and pretty tough on the body. So I get it that, my lower back's giving me problems, but I got to resolve those. So I haven't been as active, although I have started to go to a place called Third Layer. It's a skate park. They have Thursday night bike only sessions, so I ride my BMX bike. So I went last Thursday, didn't do any video. I'm also invited tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, to go check out the skate park inside of a mall. So I'm going to check that out. I haven't asked for permission on whether I can film there yet or not, so I will do that, and if I can film there, I'll have a video for you. If not much I can do. So I'll have some of that riding footage coming up, and we finally got like a decent amount of snow. So fat biking season is on. We've just had this undulating temperatures where it gets too warm and everything gets all melty and soft, and then cold and icy. Like we just haven't had ideal fat biking conditions, but we finally got hammered pretty good with some snow. It looks like the temperatures are going to drop for a while. So hopefully winter is finally here to kind of stay. Mid-December, that's generally when we want it to happen. So then I'll get some more fat biking footage and stuff. I kind of have this idea. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I want to do some urban stuff with my fat bike in the snow, and I think it'll be kind of fun. And I'll bring a shovel with me. This is my idea anyway. I have no idea if it'll work out, but I'd like to carve some transitions and lips into some snowbanks and stuff, and just create some jumps and just see if I can make a fun urban environment, right, for fat biking. But it's, the conditions are always changing, so it's hard. Like the snowbanks could become just super hard ice where I can't chop into it, stuff like that. So we'll see if I can pull that off. If I can, it'll be pretty cool. I'll definitely have to bring my 360 camera and do some other angles rather than just POV footage for that. But yeah, that's my plan. I'm going into winter here, so things are going to slow down a bit. I really just need to work on my health. I talked about my mom. She's still kind of not sure what's going on, but hopefully that'll end up okay. So on and so forth. So I do really appreciate your support for my channel. Please like and subscribe. Peace.